Okay, good evening to everybody. Can you all see my screen? Okay, let's get started. I am joining from California, Silicon Valley, Mountain View, and we've been here for more than 9 years. I am a management consultant doing organizational transformation projects here in Silicon Valley, working very closely with one of the most well-known organizations, like the biggest search engine, the biggest social media company, and such. I'm more focusing on the areas of how AI will impact organizations, how people will be changing their way of doing work, understanding of the business environment, and how organizations will be more effective and productive, leveraging artificial intelligence. My major is architecture. I love mountain biking and motorcycling. Also, robotics is one of the hobbies that I am spending some time with my son. I am very involved to nonprofit organizations here in the Valley. Very curious about human history, sociology, anthropology. I'm a coffee person. I'm not sure, maybe some of you, maybe not. Maybe some of you are tea person, I don't know. Yeah, I'm married and have a son who is 16 years old. That's me, very quickly at a glance. What we're going to discuss today is, I think, I break down, excuse me, into five main chapters, five main topic areas. One is I'll try to kind of give you a big picture of how world is changing. I'll collected some like useful interesting information from industry, from different resources. And the second chapter that we're going to discuss is about how work changes. Because we are talking about future work, we need to understand how the work is changing now. And the third chapter is going to be what's the toolkit that we need to have for the future. I call them skills, which I'll break down a little bit detailed fashion. And the fourth chapter is I put together a very like practical, very simple playbook for you to get prepared for the future to adapt to current changes. And the fifth chapter is going to be the conclusion and my humble recommendations to you. If you have questions down the road, you can just ask me, interrupt me. It's an interactive session, I'm assuming. It's not a lecture coming from me to you. It's more a conversation. You can just, hey, I have a question. We can stop there. If the question will be addressed in the following slides, I'll mention that. And the last part, very quickly, I have a few books that I would recommend reading. We'll share that. Let's get started. World is changing rapidly as never before. And there are three main dynamics happening at the same time. We are at an inflection point in terms of rapidly changing technology as well as demographics. You are way younger than me, and the younger generations are different than when we were young, and demographics are changing. And the second dimension, second factor is technology is a tool. I think we all need to understand that, especially the artificial intelligence technologies, those are the tools that are intended to enhance our capacity and capability. And it's not just automation. And it is basically, I'm sure that you've been using these LLM tools from the beginning. They are amplifying our intellect and our creativity. In the future, maybe their roles will evolve, but like today, we need to understand Either way, those are the tools. And the third dimension is you are going to be designing and developing your future, your career. And you are not passive. You shouldn't be passive to this journey. You should be active to shape your future. I have put together a few like interesting information from different resources I mentioned. Like by 2020, 2030, 22% of today's jobs will be affected, meaning like there will be 170 million new roles and jobs will be displaced by 92 million different jobs globally. That's very large number, like 22%. That's a little bit, I think, um, conservative number. My expectations are larger, like 2022 is a humble number. I think the impact will be more than 22%. And the digital access is expected to be most transformative trends, meaning like 60% of employers planning major business changes driven by technology. Employers, meaning companies, organizations, they are planning to make changes, major changes in their existing business models to implement these new technologies in the future, in the next 5 years. It's not like decades. It's happening very fast. And there are three main, I think, areas that everybody is also have some considerations. One is the sustainability, which is basically there are new job categories, new job areas are emerging, especially in the green skills we call an infrastructure, more responsible technologies, more responsible production, more responsible distribution and logistics. Also, this uncertainty factor is coming from the cross-border shifts, meaning there are a lot of things happening, especially around globe, like there are wars, there are some conflicts between countries, there are some movements within a country and social movements I'm talking about. And the work and the opportunities are very competitive and flexible. Companies here, especially here in Silicon Valley, making more investments on the nearshore and offshore people, employees, because expenses are increasing rapidly and everybody's trying to find the way to reduce overall operational expenditure. But interestingly, only 14% of the organizations feel they have the necessary people and skills. They are lacking finding best people to put those roles to allocate resources accordingly. And if you just step back and take a look at the larger picture, like the, again, a global level, according to OECD and based on OECD countries, working age population is expected to fall by over 30% by 2060, which is like people are getting older and older and they are no more effective and productive as they before. And this AI hype or reality, whatever you call it, I think it's both, is also kind of disrupting this numbers. I mean, 2060 is a very, very far, but to me, the changes in the working age population is very dramatic, and people are trying to figure out how do they adapt to these changes. Let's say you are 40, you are 50 years old, you're 60 years old even, and things are changing super fast fashion, and then you're not adapting to these changes, and you're basically becoming late and then just offsiding yourself from the workforce, the labor environment. The last piece of interesting figures that I want to share with you is that the adoption is getting better from the first like 2 years. November 22 was the month, the time that ChatGPT launched, like after 3 years and a half, 3 years time bound, 36% of occupations, all the people in the organizations, all the people, employees in the companies are using AI, at least 25% of their existing day-to-day jobs, which is good. I mean, it was not as good last year and the first year that ChatGPT launched because everybody freaked out. Okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to lose my job? And how am I going to use these new technologies because it's impressive? Is it going to replace me or such? But people adapted to these changes because there is no resistance to this change and started using it effectively. And 25% is the number that people are using to deliver their tasks. And also another interesting dynamic that I want to share with you is that some companies, especially consulting firms, where I am kind of serving in this industry, trying to remove
Modern
some
da una
trying
serie sai anche che abito figli e non stata la mia. Ni ra
um okay, thank you. Now where we are, yeah. I mean the college degrees, the university degrees somehow getting less important. I'm not saying that they are not important, but like the companies are looking for the actual skills that they need. And in 2025, I mean, end of this year, according to McKinsey research, 50% of all workers may require reskilling, meaning they need to acquire new skills to deliver their jobs and maybe redeploy from their existing jobs to the new jobs that they need to be there. And the last piece is that the productivity is increasing by using these technologies. Productivity meaning doing more with less, which is very important in capital-based economies and liberal economies that you have to manage your costs and you have to increase your unit of product uh, margin effectively. And this AI changes bringing those efficiencies and productivities to the work. And also like 25% of the workforce in US are remote. I mean, I am also working remotely for the last 5 years almost. I'm from the beginning of the COVID. I'm still working from home remotely, and it's the number is not getting smaller, it's getting bigger and bigger. Let's jump into the work and how the work changes in this environment. I'll share some graphics with you, which I'm assuming you're going to like it. This is a conceptual representation of jobs and tasks. Since I'm an architect, I love conceptual concepts, trying to transform some ideas into tangible forms. In this case, it's a form of cube. If you consider a task as as the most granular piece of any organization, a cube has 3 dimensions. One dimension represents the human dimension, like human aspect of the task. Every single task has different level of human intervention. And this x-axis, as you can see, is the machine or AI dimension. And the third axis is obviously the value that that particular task is creating. From this point of view, if you take a look at this job on the left-hand side, there are some specific tasks within it, right? There are some activities. In this case, it was a logistics engineer or a credit analyst or software engineer, whatever you call it. There are some aspect of that job as tasks. performing people by people as like monitoring. There are some activities that we do advanced analysis. There are some specific tasks that we develop new models and do some deep analysis on calculating potential simulations and scenarios and predict future based on the known data and information. But if you look at this right-hand side, some of the specific tasks are suitable for AI, for machines. Definitely monitoring tasks can be easily substituted by the machines. You don't have to have somebody on the dashboards, on the screens, watching all the numbers 24/7, 365, all day, every day, throughout the year. You can put some machines there, and based on the algorithms or based on their generative capabilities, they can observe all the numbers, all the information all the time. But for some other tasks like modeling and predictions, we use AI or different forms of technologies, softwares, platforms to augment our capacity and capability. But if we try to apply this approach and this concept to the organizations, to the jobs, what we're doing here is that we're transforming jobs. We are removing some of the parts from the existing jobs and creating a machine job on the right-hand side, as you can see. But also, we are introducing new tasks to our existing jobs to perform, right? And I call it the new combinations between humans and machines is emerging. We are creating new ways of working. We are disrupting our existing operating models. We are changing our processes and understanding of our organizational and operational processes. From there, I think what we need to do is that we need to focus on our skills, which means the skills are abilities to deliver activities, right? It can be life activities or it can be professional activities, it can be other type of activities or tasks. In this visual, I try to break down the skills into four main categories. The first category is the technical skills. I'm not going to read all of these details because I can share this slide deck with you. But the important message of this slide is that the skills on the left-hand side, the technical and functional skills, have less lifespan, meaning you need to learn a technical skill in every 6 months because technology is changing super fast. And your functional skills in a specific area in an organization, let's say you are now kind of getting your major degree in finance, and then you have already graduated and you started working in, let's say, Morgan Stanley as an investment banker, your investment banking functional knowledge is also changing rapidly. You have to learn and reskill yourself in a very short time period. And the length of the arrows represent the lifespan. On the other hand, right-hand side, you see that there are two different set of categories. One is the portable, the second is the adaptive. Those are the skills that you bring to your world, to your job, to your life constantly. Those are the skills that you're carrying with you all the time. And their lifespan is longer than the technical and functional skills. From this point of view, organizations started to hire people based on their portable and adaptive skills, not based on their technical and functional skills, because those skills are like getting obsolete very quickly. But the skills under portable and adaptive categories are enduring for the future And those are the skills that everybody is looking for these days. And this is the summary. Today's fast-paced job market, the shelf life of technical and functional skills is short, and that requires continuous learning. However, the adaptive and portable skills will remain valuable across different roles and industries. And your job as young college or students or young professionals, you need to develop that blend of skills. You should focus on the areas that will come with you in different organizations and different functions and different roles. Okay, you can ask, what are those skills? I try to kind of identify the most important portable skills and also adaptive skills for the future. On the left-hand side, the negotiation skills, the persuasion, service and customer orientation, inductive and deductive reasoning, mathematical reasoning, achievement centricity is very key, attention to detail, considering the social media impact of the young generations, attention to detail and attention span is getting worse and worse every day, right? Independence is also very critical. Portable skills, one of the portable skills that you need to have, and integrity. And the right-hand side, the adaptive skills are more leaning into your core, essential, foundational human skills like the flexibility, the leadership, concerning others, cooperation, initiative, innovation, persistence, social orientation, stress tolerance, self-control, and coordination. Those are the skills that you need to be making investment every day. How can I develop my adaptive skills for the future where the required um, situation, the situation required me to act differently. And if you combine these two set of skills in a wise way, you are definitely going to be super successful in the future. Everybody will, I mean, what I'm trying to say here is that the advanced AI systems started writing codes very effectively, very fast, and the quality level is getting better. But how do we differentiate ourselves against the machines? These are the hints, tips, and tricks for you to differentiate yourselves from the machines, plus from other people that you are going to compete against. I tried to kind of identify um, 12, 10 different industries for the future. Obviously, technology and artificial intelligence is going to be one of the most important industry or area that you need to focus for your future. But that's not the only pathway. There are some other options for you. Renewable energy and environmental sustainability is going to be another, maybe the second most important industry. Healthcare, biotechnology, nanotechnology, material science. Fourth, everything is running on the systems and servers and data centers. Cybersecurity and information security will be super, super important. Not only the personal information point of view, but also the corporate information, enterprise information, and education and online learning. As I mentioned, attention span is getting smaller. Students in your age, even lower, are not learning things as we learned before. Learning methodologies, learning platforms, learning systems are changing, and we need to have next generation educators for the future. And urban planning and smart cities, I didn't put that because I'm an architect. I put that particular industry because it's going to be super important. The Earth, the planet Earth, has its limits, and we need to design the cities in a more green, but also more effective and efficient way. And urban planning, architecture are going to be very critical in the future, in the next decades. As you may follow space exploration and astronomy area from SpaceX, from some other organizations and companies, all the people, all trying to go beyond the moon, Mars, maybe further. Space exploration, astronomy, astrophysics are going to be super critical. And creative and digital content creation is one of the areas maybe some of you are very interested in. Maybe some of you have some skills on this creative areas. Ethics, law, and philosophy is going to be also very critical because all these technologies should be responsible. They shouldn't be kind of eliminating or conflicting with our human values. They should be aligned, and that is happening in the ethics layer and ethics world. Also, considering all these technological changes, all these somehow desperate and rapid movements, people need more support on their mental health and wellness. That's the area that is also requires people like you, maybe, to support other people. I also kind of put together some critical jobs and professions for each industry that I laid out here. Again, I'm not going to read all of these jobs specifically, but these are just hints for you that you need to start exploring. You need to start kind of learning more about one of those. In terms of playbook, as I mentioned, I have put together 5 steps, simple, practical playbook for you. Start from the learning part. Embrace lifelong learning. There is no such world that you are going to be living in the future that you are going to graduate from a best university, the best major area, and the best degrees, and you're gonna do that job throughout your life. No, it's not gonna happen. It was the case for the generations before me. Maybe it's the case for us. I'm not sure. I'm 46 and I'm learning every day and I'm shifting myself and removing myself from my comfort zone to the new areas that I have never worked and delivered any job, any task, any project. Embrace lifelong learning. That's the first rule of thumb. That's the first step that you need to adapt and have the mindset. And the second step is focusing more on the adaptive and transferable skills, portable skills. And the third one, cultivate resilience, meaning you have to manage your stress tolerance, you have to increase your interdisciplinary learning skills, and you have to be in some of the activities that would allow your competency to solve complex problems. Get some endurance. And the fourth part is not happening in a vacuum. You have to develop your network and seek mentorship from people you respect, from people who have expertise, from people who have experience, and connect with them. Develop new relationships, develop new bridges between you and them. And the last part is participate in an experiential programs throughout your college years, beyond your college years. You have to prove what you have done in a particular area that you are interested in. It's not the college degree only. It's not the class that you have taken in your, I don't know, first year, second year. It's the real experience and expertise and knowledge and learnings from your activities, your projects that shows your skills. I have created year by year accelerator. I was considering this target audience as more college students. I'll skip that, but keep in mind this is applicable to any any age. This is more leaning into the college years, but it can be kind of applicable to post college young professionals. Maybe some of you, I don't know all of you, but like making some assumptions here. Last part, I have 4 recommendations to you. These are the life-changing recommendations from my personal life. And now these are getting more important. And I think I wanted to share what I have experienced, what I would humbly suggest and recommend you to get a point of view, get a new perspectives. Obviously, the first one is think beyond the boundaries. Because the question that I put together there is people are looking for somebody who has making connections between different dimensions, different functional areas, different topic areas, and try to bend the normal boundaries and timelines to perform their jobs in a more effective and productive way. That requires thinking beyond the boundaries. That's my first recommendation to you. The second one is eagerness to learn. We are all human beings. We need water, we need food, we need to get sleep, we need to get rest, right? And our brain needs different things, which is knowledge and experience. And in that way, you have to feel this eager. I need to learn. I need to develop my skills. I need to move forward. That is also part of our beliefs. The day we have today should be different than the day we had yesterday. And the third recommendation from my end is that you have to develop your social skills and your skills in understanding others because it's going to be super important. You are, from 5 years from now, you're probably going to be managers, project leaders, organizational coordinators, directors in different organizations. You have to be understanding others better than everyone. And the fourth is you have to maintain and find a way to build your emotional balance because the work environment is not a hand-holding environment. You have to be managing your stress level. You have to deal with people and machines sometimes to deliver the work, the outcomes, and you have to be kind of stable in terms of your emotions. You cannot express your emotions in a good or bad way in work environments. You may, but there's some consequences. Sometimes those consequences are not quite good. Um, these are the 4 like personal recommendations from my end to you that like you should be maybe thinking, not I shouldn't say should, you may want to start thinking through. Yeah, that's it. I am You can reach me out from this LinkedIn profile, my first name's first letter and my last name. If you search my name on LinkedIn, you can find me. And if you have any questions privately, I'll try to address some of them as much as possible.